Welcome to Film for Thought Extra. This week we review Star Wars The Force Awakens. A spoiler-free review for you all because we know not everyone will have seen it. My name's Jake.
I'm Connor.
And let's get straight into it. This episode of Film for Thought Extra is brought to you by Audible.com. Audible is the leading provider of audiobooks across a range of genres. I used my free trial to listen to Andy Weir's sci-fi survival novel The Martian, which was recently adapted into a feature film starring Matt Damon. For a 30-day trial and a free audiobook of your choice, go to audibletrial.com/filmforthought. So, it's a good film, right?
It's a great film, I think I would be safe to say.
Yep. We've got a couple of talking points. So, the plot, Connor. How did you feel about the plot? So, a lot of people said it was too reminiscent of the original trilogy, specifically of A New Hope.
I've seen a lot of people say it's like a combination of all three of the original trilogy compressed into one.
And I think that's fair.
It's a fair assessment, but I think that's actually one of the film's strengths.
It's a strength, for sure.
Like, it pays homage rather than just completely copying.
I think it was important that this film takes some thematic elements from the original trilogy, because
especially with us having to hand off to a younger
exactly cast. It feels like a passing of the torch film.
Yeah,
is what it is, and in some ways it is literally that.
It does that, and it completes that objective without abandoning its own identity as a film as well. It's got this very unique aesthetic. It's got this very like original plotline, even considering what it borrows from the original trilogy.
Yeah, totally agree. Acting. How did you feel about the acting in this film?
I felt like
no problems, literally no problems with any of the acting.
It's one of the few times where I think everyone nailed their role dead on, which is the first time in any Star Wars film.
Yeah, there's always
been weak links in every other Star Wars film. This is the first time that I think everyone has nailed their role.
What did you think of the new cast? So John Boyega as Finn, Daisy Ridley as Rey.
You said personally that a few of the humorous moments with Finn didn't land for you.
A couple of them, but not to the point where I'm like,
it's not a detrimental thing. I can understand why some people wouldn't enjoy that, but the thing with Finn's humor moments were it's exactly my kind of humor.
Yeah,
so I appreciated that dead on. Daisy Ridley stole the show.
Amazing.
This film, she is very clearly the protagonist. This is hers. This story.
Some amazing
belongs to
misleading marketing. There's some amazing marketing that just in this film. It's marketed great.
Some of the most clever marketing ever. Like
ridiculous.
Marketing is actually a strength of J.J. Abrams because he does it with. He did it with Star Trek. He didn't entirely manage it with Star Trek, but he did manage it to a degree. With Star Wars, he completely misdirected the audience.
You will still be surprised.
There were moments cut around that you didn't expect to be where they were.
Things that make it look like they go a certain way that don't, and it's you're going to be surprised if you have.
If you watched the trailers and thought they showed too much in the trailers, they absolutely did show too much, but
you still know nothing.
Out of context.
You are Jon Snow. So what did you think of the returning actors? Harrison Ford coming back, and
I thought that it was nice to see them with such enthusiasm.
Everyone felt like they wanted to be there.
Everyone had this reservation going into this film that
I thought Harrison Ford was going to hate every moment of it.
Yeah, that it was going to come across in his acting that he didn't want to be in there. He clearly has enjoyed being in this film, as being part of this experience. It's like it's been such a key part of his life. It's understandable that he would.
It's really great, his performance.
Yeah, his performance is one of the highlights of the film.
Peter Mayhew is really good in this as Chewbacca.
Peter Mayhew has always nailed his role.
But here's the thing: there's not usually a lot.
There's
not usually a lot to the role.
Yeah,
but there's emotion.
To explore Chewbacca's emotional identity.
Yeah, which sounds daft. How did you feel about the droids making a comeback? So C-3PO and R2-D2.
C-3PO is still annoying, but this time you can handle it because they're not throwing it at you every 10 seconds.
Don't expect a lot of R2-D2, but when he's there, he's good.
Yeah.
Of course, the new droid.
I think the new droid is one of the best characters.
BB-8 is probably one of the greatest robotic characters of all time.
Yeah.
If not the great.
I think he comes close behind R2 is the problem.
He's like really, really great. Like quirky, and he's funny not just because he's a droid, he's funny because there's timing.
He has solved one of the issues I had with R2-D2 as a character, where when R2 gestured to someone with his beeping, and they, like, usually C-3PO would have to overexpose the statement and really voice.
But you can feel what BB-8's going on.
You know what BB-8 is saying despite not being able to speak bocce. It works. It's great.
What do you think of the visuals in this film? This film looks amazing.
It absolutely does.
It's got that amazing
it's very
practical.
Clearly Star Wars.
Yeah.
it has stayed true to the physicality of
the original
trilogy. It has been done where possible, like everywhere possible, has been done with practical effects, and only use CGI for a couple of characters and some small enhancements.
Yeah,
it's very clearly got J.J. Abrams' identity in the visuals.
100%. Yeah.
But this works. This absolutely works.
His visual style is well suited.
It's not just J.J. Abrams' visual style. It is J.J. Abrams' Star Wars.
So the combination of practical and CGI, probably the best and most fluid combination of, even when it comes down to the characters. So there are some CGI motion capture characters that seem entirely almost as real as the practical effects characters.
It's one of the rare occasions where you don't even think about the fact that they are CG'd into the scene. You believe
Lupita Nyong'o's character totally convinced me.
You completely believe that they are in the scene interacting with the characters. That can be hard to pull off in a lot of films, especially when there's so much going on visually. Really is.
So one of the strengths of Star Wars has always been its score.
Yeah.
How did you feel Episode 7 did in terms of the music?
I'd say it never had quite as powerful a moment.
It didn't have that kick-ass this is the new, I'm going to be singing this for years.
Like everyone remembers that moment in the start of A New Hope with
Binary
Sunset playing as Luke stares over to the dual sunset. It's amazing.
Even in the prequels, Duel of the Fates is one of the greatest cinematic scores of all time.
This isn't to say that the score of The Force Awakens is bad.
It's not bad.
Perfectly thematic. It's just
unremarkable.
I wouldn't even say that because it is quite. It's quite intense and it works for the scene. But the problem is that you never have a moment where the visuals allow you to too heavily reflect on the audio alone. Like you never have a moment where you're just there to appreciate the music and reflect on the.
Yeah, events. I totally agree. So your overall thoughts for Star Wars: The Force Awakens?
It's a fantastic film. It's a fantastic Star Wars film.
It's a great Star Wars film.
It is great. I hold it as probably the second best.
That's
Star
what
Wars
I've seen a lot. Is that not as good as Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah. Everyone seems to be agreeing it's not the best,
it's the
but
second
it
best.
is the second best, regardless of how you rate the other films.
And having sat on it for a day before we did this review, I'm likely to agree now. I think it's a really, really great film and an amazing villain. We didn't mention that when we were talking about acting.
Oh man, no,
we can't talk about the villain
more in the spoiler review because there's a lot to be said about
there's a lot.
How he fulfills his role.
Let's wrap up. Out of 10, what do you give Star Wars: The Force Awakens?
I give The Force Awakens an 8 out of 10.
I personally give Star Wars: The Force Awakens a 7 out of 10, which means that our collective score is 7.5. So this is a 7.5 out of 10. Definitely go check it out if you haven't checked it out. And if you have seen it and you're here just to find out our thoughts on it, you can catch a spoiler-filled review coming up in the next couple of weeks. But when it is here, it'll be linked right here. So go watch that. If you want to catch, we've done a couple of podcasts, the Film for Thought podcast. We've done a couple of them just about Star Wars, so go check those out. Links will be in the description. Make sure you subscribe if you're interested, and of course check out our free trial of Audible.com. The link in the description, and that was stated at the beginning of this show. So that was Film for Thought Extra. We hope you enjoyed it. Keep an eye out for more YouTube exclusive content over the next few weeks as we're taking a break from the podcast.
The show will be returning in January along with a whole host of new online content and a few new shows.
So thanks for joining us. Catch us on YouTube anytime by subscribing, and make sure you like this video. We're going to sit here while we wait for you to do it.
Jake's gonna crash zoom on his nose now. You see that flare? It's weird.